Hello, my name is Damon Friedman, co-founder and president of SOF Missions. As a 20-year veteran within special operations, I've gone through many challenges due to my military service and time in combat. We felt called to start SOF Missions to serve our fellow brothers and sisters in arms, focusing on suicide prevention and resiliency. Our mission at SOF Missions is to empower warriors to find purpose and be resilient. Since 2011, when we started the organization, almost 3 million men and women have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the scars of war take a toll on their psychological, physical, social, and spiritual health. Many veterans feel a sense of hopelessness and a loss of purpose when they return to civilian life. They feel isolated and alone, unable to reconnect. And in the greatest of tragedies, over 20 veterans lose all hope and take their own lives. Our goal at SOF Missions is to provide veterans the tools and resources so that they don't become a statistic. We offer a unique approach to combating veteran suicide through a whole health intradisciplinary model. The Be Resilient program is a 4-pillar methodology that addresses the areas of psychological, physical, social, and spiritual wellness. We provide care through 3 delivery methods: medical clinics, retreats, and educational training. Since we started back in 2011, we have been able to reach veterans in all 50 states and have served over 3,000 veterans through the Be Resilient program. Being resilient is a multifaceted and complex issue. We know that to find a lasting solution, we have to address the whole warrior. Many challenges cannot be solved by providing the treatments and modalities of just one component, but by tackling them all. Now, we've expanded our services to include law enforcement and first responders. Together, we can make a lasting impact in the lives of warriors across the nation. To learn more, visit our website at sofmissions.org.
All right. Welcome back.
MisFitNation, the MisFitNation show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome back to the Misfit Nation show, Sunday after dinner edition. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I am coming at you live from Alexandria, Louisiana. Not by choice, but by voluntoldism. It's always good to come down here and see some old friends and get some of that good army training in. But now it's time to get to the real meat and potatoes, the Misfit Nation, and all of you out there in Misfit Nation land. Thanks again for being here. Tonight, we have a return guest, Remember the Family. I think it was 2022 or 2023, early 23. He was on the show. We had a great conversation, some great laughs, and he had so much fun. He wanted to come back. So don't have to give a lot of an introduction on him, but his name is Chancellor Jackson. Let's get him on here. Let him tell you more about him for the new listeners so that he can tell the story, and then I can just ask some questions. Welcome, Chancellor.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you, man? It's been a little while.
Blessed and highly favored, man. Can't complain. Appreciate you for having me back.
Definitely, man. Definitely. When I seen you put it in there, I said maybe he forgot. He got so famous he forgot he was on the show, and then we had a little talks. No, he's still the same dude. He's still grounded. He's awesome, and it's great to have you here. Great to see that smile again. So, Chancellor, tell the audience about you from as far back as you want to go, and to what we're doing now.
Grew up in Smyrna, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. Played football majority of my life. Throughout high school, got the opportunity to play in college. Played all 4 years at Stetson University down in Florida. After I graduated, I landed my first job teaching English to kids in China. So I moved to China for a little bit, lived out there for about 6 months before things went left and I was arrested and detained in a jail for 14 days. Deported from the country, came back to America, started writing my first book, 14 Days in Beijing. Got into coaching football, still working education. So now I got multiple books, and I coach people through the writing and publishing process as well. So it's been a marathon for sure.
Definitely. You still coaching football?
Oh, yeah. Yep. For the end of year 7.
Okay. Nice. How's that going?
It's been a journey. I've enjoyed it every bit. We had a rough season last year. So
we call it learning years.
Yeah. It's a whole new team. So a lot of changes as far as the coaching staff. So it's pretty much a fresh start, and just excited for the spring season to see where we at, who we are, what we can do, what we can't do, and just start getting ready for fall.
So how stringent is the spring rules for you guys? Are they allowed to go full contact, or is it just helmets and weights and stuff like that?
Well, it's gradual. Of course, you don't want to just have full pads the very first day. Nah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we just started off with just helmets, and then we're going to move into helmets. Then we moved into shells, and then Monday we're going to go full pads.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you guys actually play games in the spring?
Yeah. Now we do. When I was coming up, we just scrimmaged each other, but now we're playing a team. It's about 40 minutes north of us. River Ridge High School. We played them the past 3 springs, so it's always been a bang out every time. So it's gonna be fun.
Has to be a lot of trash talk on the field. That's what makes the game even more fun.
On me, for sure.
Yeah. And you said you wrote a few more books now. Tell us about some of those and give the audience a little more about your detention in China and how that molded what you are now.
Yeah. So for 14 days, that was the very first one. That was about my experience getting locked up out there. I was locked up for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 men to one cell, 9 with the beds, 3 soups a day, 1 plastic bowl, 1 plastic spoon. Nothing was explained to me as far as how the process works, how long I'm going to be here, what my specific charges are. And I'm in this cell with 14 other Chinese men, none of which I can speak to. So this give you a little context of how that journey was. But I transitioned to a different genre. I went to romance for the next 2. But all 3 books are pretty much telling one long story, so it's a series. But pretty much it's the man's first step to gaining emotional intelligence. That's what the romance novels are. But the good thing about book 3, Real Love Never Dies, it picks up a little bit on before getting locked up in China, so it tells a little bit about how that journey was, because I get asked that a lot, like, what was China like before you got arrested? So I get to talk about some of the different things I was doing out there. And of course, what took place specifically after those 14 days. So yeah, it's a dope series. And then I just dropped a new book last month titled The Power of Becoming. I had to transition to a whole nother field. So yes, it's The Power of Becoming, 7 Pillars of Growth and Empowerment. And it's pretty much like a personal roadmap to wholeness. Filled with different quotes and insights centered around 7 core themes: love, discernment, success, happiness, healing, and confidence. So I'm pretty excited. It's been doing well so far. We was leading the charts and we were still on pre-order. So
Wow.
we 6 days. So it had a good little release. I got some more promo packages I'm working on right now that's gonna roll out to promote the book even more. But yeah, man. So it's been a journey.
That's awesome. I was just looking at the Real Love Never Dies on Amazon here. Just put the link in the comments so the audience can grab that if they'd like. It's you have it on Kindle, hardcover, paperback. I don't see Audible yet, so I'm not sure if you have you done Audible with them.
I got Audible for 14 days, just like a few chapters, but I really need to stop playing and get all of it for real, for real.
Yeah. And I seen the quote right at the top of it says, "I've been told that love is a losing game and that there's really isn't a point in playing." Is that something that motivated you to write this?
Yeah, well, really the same. My friend that inspired me to write 14 Days in Beijing, he was putting the bug in my ear to write the romance too. I was like, nah, I ain't even trying to. I'm not in the headspace right now, and honestly, I just wasn't. I didn't feel like I needed to write another book after 14 days. But once 14 days had the success it had, um, I was just doing more research on just self-publishing and authorship. I seen that romance was the number one selling genre. I was like, well, if I didn't did well in these other genres, that's a big dog I'm finna see. Yeah, I just took it as a challenge then. And I looked at it even more. I was like, there's not a lot of male authors when it comes to romance. I'm like, that's hell yeah, I stand out even more. So yeah, that's what really sparked that. So you got You Love, You Learn, and Real Love Never Dies. You Love, You Learn is book one. It was part one of the romance story. Real Love Never Dies is part two.
I'm looking at your author page now. Love You Learned and Real Love Never Dies, and then The Power of Becoming are all on there. Yes, you have a pretty big page now. So when the first time we talked, we just had the one picture on there, the 14 days of Beijing, and just a couple of years, you've exploded on the writing sphere. Like you said, there's not a lot of male romance novelists. And if they are males, they usually use a pen name as a female or some other kind of pen name, so that it doesn't detract from readers. So I think you're taking a big chance as Chancellor Jackson to do this.
Actually, yeah, I definitely. It's been a journey, and now I just help people with the writing and publishing process as well. Because I've received so many questions and comments and concerns about the writing and publishing process, and it surprised me how many people there were that aspired to be a published author one day or to write a book and get it published. Um, these are all just ideas for me, and I just made it happen. So yeah, I just work with people through the process because everybody has a story to tell. Especially watching the intro to this show. Oh my goodness, I'm like, yeah, there's plenty of veterans out there that I got a series of books as far as experience. You know what I'm saying? Which I done been through. So yeah, man, put your story out there. You'd be surprised.
And that's something we try to tell the audience, tell our guests that you may not think you have a story, but you do. And no matter how bad or good you think your life has been, there's a story in there. There's a story that got you to where you are. There's a story that's getting you where you're going. So you need to share that because you can't take it with you when you die.
Exactly.
You got to share that story, and that history stays there. And if there's tips you can give the audience, what does your writing day look like? When you wake up in the morning, what do you start doing when you write?
Um, when I'm in my writing mode, I pretty much just like whenever like spare time I have, I use that to get the story written. Even if if I'm at work, like if I got just a little bit off time, I got because I type my stuff on Google Docs, so I can pull that up anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always writing, and just really just finding the rhythm. That's the biggest thing. Just find the rhythm. And it really depends on what you're writing as well. If you write nonfiction, that's easy, right? You're just telling the story. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like you got to come up with everything and create the entire setting and the characters and develop all of this stuff as you continue to come up with the story. That's a little bit more challenging. But you'll just have to really schedule out time when it comes to fiction writing. But nonfiction, man, just tell the story. I tell everybody, man, write it like you sending a long text to one of your friends. Like use emojis, don't worry about no punctuation, abbreviate words, everything, acronyms, all of that. Like just write it just like that, just to get it down. After that, man, you can always go back and just fine tune it, fix it up. So that just makes it a little bit easier to get it down on paper.
You can definitely clean things up as you go. It's really nonfiction. It's your, like you said, it's your story. If you want to write in your own voice, that's even easier for you because then it's pure. You're writing just like you talk and it comes out. So maybe you have to change some of that because, you know, some of the ways we talk are not perceived well on the other side of the writing. So you have to maybe clean it up a little bit so the writer, the author, and then the reader understands it a lot better and accepts it a little more. But other than that, the nonfiction is really, like you said, it's your story. Let it go. Just let it flow, and it might help somebody. And that's what the whole idea of nonfiction is, to maybe share your story so that another person doesn't go through the same things that you've gone through.
Definitely, or they can relate to what you've gone through,
Right?
Or haven't even gone through what you know what I'm saying you're going through, but it's around the corner, so you never know.
Right. You can't just keep all that stuff. Like I said, you can't take any stories with you when you're not with us anymore, because then it's just garbage that you lived your life that way. So
Right.
we already got a question from the audience already. This is pretty quick, actually. It's from at Sesame Bubby. What advice would you give someone starting a book based on a traumatic or deeply personal experience? Thank you, Sesame Buddy.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Great question. I would say start off, create an outline. That's the easiest way to come up with how you want to write the story. So literally, if it's telling a true story, all right, so what introduction goes far back to where you think it would be best to start the story. Write that down. Okay. So for example, the date it happened, we'll start right there. What time, and just start from the date. Just write that little note down. All right, what happened after that? Write that note down. And just create an outline doing that. And then before you know it, you got a whole blueprint on how to write the book. You know what I'm saying? So now you go in and just fill in every bulletin. And then once you fill in every bulletin, go back up to the top. Now you can remove these bulletins, and this could be a chapter name, or you know what I'm saying, the title. You know what I'm saying? It could be anything. So that it just makes it a little bit easier that way. That's how I coach people to do it. Create an outline.
Putting that in the chat so they can understand that as well. If they're just reading and watching their children right now and not listening to us, they can read the chat and get that. So that's a great answer. And I think the outline does help a lot. And there's so many tools now like Google Docs, and you can put Grammarly on your Google Docs now to help you out along the way as well, and make it so much easier for a writer now than it was, say, even 5-10 years ago. Have you noticed how easy it is to get everything checked now as like when you were in college?
Oh yeah, for sure. What writing was never a strong suit of mine. For real. In high school, I don't recall having to write any papers like that for real. So when I got to college, it was a rude awakening. I lived in the writing center all 4 years. Every paper, my degree was communication media studies, so that's a writing intensive course. I lived in that writing center, boy, for real, for real. But nowadays, yeah, this internet technology has changed the game. AI has changed the game. Things can get done a whole lot faster.
And a lot of people, I know there's some people out there in the publishing world that frown against AI usage, but if you put your own words into an AI system and it comes out with a clearer vision of what you just wrote, it's still your work.
That's like sending it to an editor and they editing it. It's
basically the same thing. They're not writing the story, not putting in, "Hi, I'm Chancellor Jackson, write my story," and then it writes a 30-page novel, a story on you. Then that's cheating. But if you put your whole bio in there and it just makes you sound like a superstar, then it's just doing things better for you.
Exactly. It's useful. It's resourceful. And you better get on with. You better learn how to use it now, because it's taking over. You're all left behind. I'm telling you.
And I know I just seen who's it? One of the quarterbacks who just got drafted. They told him to use VR headsets. Use a VR headset like Jaden Daniels did in Washington with Washington football team, or wherever the Commanders. They had him last year use virtual headset to get his timing down and to learn to read defenses. They just told, I think it might have been Cam Ward. I think it was, I forget it was Cam Ward or whoever it was that they told us to do this. And that's what he's doing now to prepare for this preseason and then the full season using virtual headsets to learn everything and get the timing and speed down.
Yeah, that's crazy. I ain't even heard of that. That's hard though. But yeah, man, technology is
They said that helped Jaden Daniels last year go from, they didn't think he'd be in as a starter for a rookie year with Washington, but using the VR headset got him so far ahead of where he would have been that he was now in the playoffs and playing for the NFC Championship.
What? Yeah, man, actually, for sure. But it's like playing a video game. You can mess up all you want in there. It ain't gonna be. So
it doesn't hurt much unless you fall down with the goggles on. So
yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and there's people that get a little crazy inside the goggles and hurt themselves, hurt things around them, and you can't control that though. So, but that's something you can maybe use with your team now that you're coaching, and they all play video games after the games. So
yeah,
get in there and just watch film, see if they can see if they react.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
See, I'm here to help you just as much as you're helping the audience. See that?
Sharp as iron. All right, sharp as iron.
All right, we got another question. This is from Liang23. How did you mentally and emotionally recover after your 14-day detainment in China? Thank you, Liang23.
It just took a lot of time to myself, soul searching for real. But I had a lot of time to do that while I was in there at the same time. So solitude, for the most part, 14 days. I had a lot of time to think and reflect. A lot of time, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing to really do. Don't leave the cell. I got a bowl and a spoon. So I did a lot of my soul searching in there. And then once I got out, I already had an idea. Like, okay, I got to fix my life all over again because I done lost everything in 2 weeks. But it's like I know I got a somewhat of a blueprint of what I can do. I can still do this education thing. It's like, well, you got experience not only working in education, but you was teaching kids on the other side of the world doing it. That's going to open up opportunities. So just aiming towards that, just setting goals, working out a lot. I worked out a lot. I was I was in the gym like almost every day for hours. I go two times a day, 3 times a day. I was working out crazy. And then doing a lot of creative things like modeling and being in music videos as an actor and creating clothing lines and stuff like that. Just being creative, exploring everything, just trying to keep myself busy and just find my purpose as well. So it's really just more, it's easy for me just because I've always been like this, resilient. And I knew there was no place to go but up from that point on. It's like, you ain't gonna get no lower than this. You ain't gonna get no lower than this. So the only way to go is up.
And definitely like the way it happened to you there and them not telling you anything and sitting in basically almost kind of like a solitary moment all the time, 14 days in there with just your spoon and bowl, nothing but time to think to yourself and maybe figure out the next steps in life. And I think you took that turn, you took that hiccup and have made it into a bright spot and done the things you're supposed to do on this side of the world. And in hopes that, that lesson is learned. And now everything you're doing now is to show others that they too can bounce back from anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. Adversity introduces a man to himself.
Definitely. And that our bowl of rice 3 times a day can do that to you anywhere. Okay.
Thanks.
It was probably the soupy rice too. So that's why you said soup. So three bowls of soup, and you can lose a lot of weight that way and degrade your health as well.
I was probably like 150. I ain't weighed 150 since high school. Well,
they got you. See,
hey.
That's a hard life right there, and they try to embed it in you. I know when I was in Korea, if an American got in trouble in Korea, we had to make sure we put food in there for them. If the Korean families had a person in their family go to jail, they had to bring food every day so their family member could eat inside the jail. Otherwise, they were just getting that bowl of rice or a bowl of fish or something every day. So you had to get them real food.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
So when you hear what the people in the prisons here in the States, when they're getting 3 full meals and still complaining about everything, it kind of makes you think, wow, imagine if they were overseas and this happened.
Hey,
What would
what?
they do? They probably wouldn't do crime.
Actual. What?
Got another one just popped in. This is from Delta Sig FSU. What was the turning point that made you realize your story needed to be shared publicly? Thank you, Delta Sig FSU.
Yeah, shout out to Delta Sig. I'm familiar. But one of my great friends I grew up with, he was a published author, traditionally published author before we graduated high school. He was like, "Hey, bro, you should write a book about it." And I was like, "That's a great idea." I knew I wanted to do something with the story. I just didn't know how I wanted to go about sharing it for real. And so he took it even further because I'm like, I don't even know where to start, but that's a great idea. He took my phone, went in my notes section, left me an outline, and I just started filling in an outline. And with me doing that, I caught a flow for how I wanted to, you know what I'm saying, tell the story. So I moved it to a Google Doc and just started typing it up. It took me about 4 months to write it. And as I was editing it and popping it up, anytime I would hang out with anybody, they over the house or whatever, I always have my laptop with me. Open it up, I just slide it to them and just like tell them to read and let me know what they think. And they get to read. Next thing I know, 10, 15, 20 minutes from pass. I ain't even got my laptop back. I'm like, okay, they locked in. I kept doing this with different people. And it just kept being this, it kept happening. They'd be locked into the laptop. When I had to ask for the laptop back. Oh man, that's crazy, bro. I didn't even know you went through that. I couldn't even imagine. So like just seeing all the reactions with me just doing that, I was like, okay, I got something on my hands for sure. And I knew it was gonna be a great story. It's just a captivating experience. So yeah, I'm glad I took the book route because I didn't know how I was gonna do it.
How's feedback been from not just the 14 Days book, but all of your books? Have you had great feedback with your readers outside of your inner circle on all your writing?
The original 14 Days, that has like 90 reviews. That's the one that has the most. But that's the one that really, that's the first one. That's the one that's got knocked out the park. Home run. Like that's the one right there. Other ones have positive reviews, just not as many. My latest one has, I think, about to catch up to some of the ones I dropped, you know what I'm saying, years ago, that reviews. So, but that's the biggest thing, just getting people to leave reviews. A lot of people will purchase the book, read the book, love the book, and don't leave a review. So you got to constantly keep reminding people, hey man, leave a review. Make sure you leave a review. Make sure you leave a review.
That's the same thing, even like on Podmatch where you are now. If you don't leave a review here, you kind of just go to the outside somewhere, and people are like, oh, he doesn't interview anybody, so he gets no reviews.
Exactly.
I have hundreds of interviews and only 27 or something. No, 70 reviews now.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
they don't make it a mandatory thing, so you can just hit, all right, confirm, complete, goodbye.
Yeah.
And you're done at that point. They forget about your existence at that point.
Exactly.
What was the best advice you were given when you started the writing journey besides the outline? What's the best piece of advice you were given?
My partner, my friend that put the bug in my ear to write the book, he was like, it was coming up on crunch time to like have the book submitted for release, and I only had half of the book back from the editor. Look, see how old it sounds like. I gotta wait on the editor because I ain't got the whole book. You know what I'm saying? So I only had half of the book. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna drop half the book. I'm gonna do like split up into 2 books, part 1, part 2. I'm gonna do it like that. And he was like, man, I think we should split it down even more. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, bro, I think, you know what I'm saying, just cut the first half in half, you know what I'm saying, just do it like that. And then we'll just figure it out when it comes to the rest of the book, just so we can have something ready to submit. I was like, I thought about it. I was like, I don't know. I slept on it for a minute, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So we split it up into 5. Well, essentially, as time progressed, we split it up into 5 books. And that was just great momentum as well, because it kept leaving people on the readers on cliffhangers. So it's like, okay, what's gonna happen next? Oh, you gotta wait till part 3 to drop. Part 3 don't drop till June. It was like, it just be a more anticipation to find out what happened and how the story ended. So yeah, that was great advice for sure.
Yeah, I think that also gives you time to, I guess, touch up the other parts of the book. So you get that first part down, it's ready to go, and you can split that one in half. So now you have two that are ready to go. Shoot out one, wait a couple months, shoot out two. But in that 2 months, you also have time to make the others even better as you go forward and make the audience start to salivate and wait for the next ones.
And it was good for the people that don't really have like long attention spans or
Yes.
like read like that in general. So it's like, okay, I can read it. The first version of 14 Days in Beijing was like 30 something chapters. Like, and that's the one that, you know what I'm saying, that went to crazy. It's 30 something chapters. I mean, 30 something pages. Excuse me. 30 something pages. And it's pretty much like the intro, forward, and first 3 chapters of the book. And then book 2 is like, you know what I'm saying, 2 more chapters. It's broken up like that. So you feel, so those type of readers feel more accomplished. Okay, I'm flying through books, and now that can carry over to bigger, larger books and stuff like that. So
Definitely. And you can see that even in, say, the video podcast. Most people right now, we're at 30 minutes on YouTube. How many people will watch a YouTube video for 30 minutes? Not many.
yeah.
You get about 34 minutes is about the tops, even for an audio podcast. But if you put a short in there that's 90 seconds, they'll watch that thing all day. And I can break this show into 31 minute videos, and they'll watch the show over and over again because it's 1 minute. Zip, oh, good. Zip, I'm there. And it's like, oh, squirrel, do it again. And everyone just runs back. And that's just how the world is. Everyone's so busy. It's partially ADD or adult attention disorder. And then everything that's going on in their lives. They have so many things they got to take care of, not just themselves. If they have children, their parents, maybe they have to take care of them. And then, of course, work on top of that. So you got to hit them in that happy space, right? When they're driving to work and maybe get 30 seconds of their life, and bam, I just showed them their whole life.
That's it right there. That's where we at with it. Technology, the advancement of the internet.
And I'm sure, when you're coaching the football team, I'm sure you see it with them. If they see, it's not just butterflies like in the old days, looking at butterflies on the field. It's just, oh, wow, we're playing football. Cool. It's great. And you got to refocus them all day, probably.
Funny, because my defensive coordinator, he was like, all right, we trying to go through walkthrough. He said, I only got about 8 minutes. Have about 8 minutes. After 8 minutes, then we get all of this, right? Like you said. So just start going elsewhere. And it's like, okay, well, let's regroup. Y'all calm down. So yeah, you only got about 8 minutes with them jokers, boy.
Definitely. And it just gets worse as they get older now, sadly, because most of the generation now coming up, they've never been without a tablet and never been out without a phone. And that's all they know is to look for something going on there. So if you bring them something in the real world, it's hard for them to even act in the real world, be social, never mind run down the field and hit somebody. And remember to hit somebody at that point.
Yeah. Well, what you supposed to do on this play?
Right. What do you mean play, coach? I just pick numbers on Madden and it does it itself. That's not football. That's a video game. But that's the world we live in. So on top of all this, you're also an entrepreneur now. So that's the coaching. Is that the coaching side of the entrepreneur, or is there something other than?
Yeah, well, that's one aspect of it. I also do like a little car rental service on the side as well. So just running a couple different marathons with that. But yeah, coaching aspiring authors through the writing publishing process. And we've had success with the people we've worked with. 2 of them in particular went number 1 in their genres. And one of them was a 15-year-old girl at the time. She was still 17 now, so she's still in high school. You know what I'm saying? Her husband, she had a lot of success. Her husband held the number 1 spot for like 9 days.
Wow.
She went crazy. It's a good story. They both based on true stories. And it's like, you got a 15-year-old girl telling her story. Like, man, anybody, hey, I better stop playing.
People want to hear it. They want to hear your story. And like we said earlier, if you're not sharing it, it's kind of a selfish thing, because there is someone out there. That 15-year-old girl probably could use the story from someone else who went through it before her. That might have helped her.
Exactly.
And then now she's able to help people as a 15-year-old. Thinking about that 15 years of life and having a story that resonates with people.
Oh, yeah.
And being a number 1, like you said, for 9 days, That's a pretty good accomplishment. Now it's hard for her to hit a home run now because she's got to keep going for the stars every time. So good luck in the next one.
Shout out to her. Shout out to Nisha Sadler. Shout out to Anthony McKinney. I go tap in with them.
There you go. That's good shout outs there. In your coaching world, have those two your biggest successes? Has there been ones that have just been so hard for you to get to the next level?
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying, they get in their own way. And they just stop eventually. And it's like I can push you and you know what I'm saying, encourage you, but I can't want it for you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna exert myself to that extent. It's like I'm right behind you, literally. Like man, you ain't got to meet me halfway, bro. I'm right there. But it's like if you don't want it, then you're just gonna have you did all of this for no reason. It's like it's just sitting. Why? I don't know. But
And every coach we've had on here, they have their stories of their heroes, the highlights, and then they don't like to talk about the ones that gave them the most trouble. That's why I asked that question to try to prod you into that because you went right for your home run hitters, and well, I like to hear the bunts and stuff like that before that to make sure that we're hitting the whole thing. It's not just coaching is not an easy game. It's not an easy world, and you're not going to have all the best clients. Some are awesome, they're rock stars, and then there's some that you just need to basically hit with a truck to get them going. And I'm sure you're hitting all that right now.
Right, basically.
And you said you have a rental car business too. Is that like a Turo, or is that you're actually renting a lot of cars?
Turo. I got 3 cars right now.
On Turo?
Yeah, I started that journey in 2021, late 2021. It's been cool. It's been a smooth little process. Real money is in like rental spaces, rental properties and stuff like that, like Airbnbs and stuff. That's really where the bread is at for sure. So that's the next venture right there.
It's funny you said. I just read an article in I forget what magazine it was today when I was on my downtime. There was a couple, they rented a house in California, rented a house for X amount for so many, I think it was $7,600 that they paid to rent this for so many months. And then they Airbnb'd it, the house they were renting, and wound up making all their money back plus 20,000 in 6 months, renting a house and using it as an Airbnb.
Yeah. I've heard similar stories like that too. So it's like, yeah, hey, you better tap in for sure. There's a lot of bread in that.
I never knew you can rent a house and then basically rent what you're renting. So
yeah, a lot of people, folks been doing that since like I want to say post pandemic. Like that's folks been doing all different types of things to create, you know what I'm saying, income. And leveraging your credit. Honestly, that's really what you're doing. Leveraging your credit using other people's money.
Yeah, and that family, that couple, they said that if they would have bought the house themselves, it would have took them probably 30 years to make that money back.
Right. Come on.
And they did it within 6 months. You can't beat it.
Game change. Game change.
That's the hustle generation. So this is a question from BMC Freddie Gibbs. What's been the most surprising reaction you've received from readers of 14 Days in Beijing? Thanks, BMC Freddie.
Appreciate you, family. Surprising reaction. I guess in the aspects, people think that it's a fictional story. Like I've gotten that a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's made this entire thing up. But I write it from like my point of view, and I refer to myself as lucky. But it's a true story. You know what I'm saying? So people would think that is a fictional story. But aside from that, it's like, well, I can see this being a movie or this being a TV show series. Like, bro, that's the biggest comment I get. You know what I'm saying? I can see this, you know what I'm saying, as a film or something. That's my end goal. Honestly, that's the end goal. To turn this into some type of film or animation. I think animation would be dope too. So I'm down for either or.
Animation would be pretty funny with you.
Exactly.
Little goal, but I mean, you have a studio right there in Atlanta you can go to and maybe pitch it. So
yeah.
He's right there. He has a whole old army base there. He has a studio, so you can
And
go there and say, hey, I have a real story.
you find anybody too, just tap into the internet, man. There's a lot of freelancers out there.
Yeah.
Utilize your resources fully.
All your friends have friends, so use them.
Facts.
When you hear the term "I have a guy," most people do have a guy that can do something.
Yeah.
Some of them are good things, and you got to go with them. Got another one just popped in. This is from Kelsey Jr. How has your background in football helped shape your mindset as an author and an entrepreneur? Thank you, Kelsey Jr.
That's it. Football was the first love and first passion. I dedicated my life to football. Like I embodied a student athlete and a football player to the fullest. So that and playing Division I football was a goal of mine when I first started playing. So being dedicated to that sport, and it's a very disciplined sport, teach you how to work hard, be a team player, mold you into a leader, especially if you do everything right. It definitely was just, man, everything I needed to branch out on my own once football came to an end, because it was a rude awakening. Every student, every athlete that's been out there, you already know what I'm talking about. This sport come to an end. Ooh, okay, what we finna do now? Who am I? You know what I'm saying? It's a process. But I was up for the challenge too, because I was just like, okay, I've done this for so long. It's like, hey, who really am I? Like, I got to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So I just took it head on. And I knew it was gonna be a journey. I knew it was gonna be a marathon. Football was a marathon. Everything was peaches and cream with that. I started late with football. I ain't started playing organized football till 8th grade. Everybody know. In the South, you playing football, most folks been playing football since they were 4 or 5 years old.
They
So
can
I was
run.
late. Exactly. So I was late to the game with that. Um, it was a lot of adversity just to earn a starting spot on the varsity roster. Then by the time I did that, I knew it was gonna be more adversity trying to figure out where I'm gonna go play college football at, because it ain't like I play for the best school and our coaches ain't putting us on. So it's like it's really gonna be up to me if to make it happen. But making that happen to all right, now I got to enter the real world, figure out what's next. So I've been here before. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's definitely been applicable to life. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to football, shout out to all sports out there, all my student athletes, former student athletes. Hey man, you already know.
And like you said, every time you start something in life, whether it be football or in any organized sports or college, there's an end point to everything. And most of our audience, the veterans in the audience, when they raised their right hand that first time, there was inevitably there was an end date. You have to stop at one point being a soldier or a Marine or a sailor or an airman. You have to stop. So you have to make that transition. You have to turn that leaf, and then you're in that same boat. What do I do with my hands now? I don't have to put boots on anymore. I don't have to shave anymore, but what do I do? What do I do next? And if you don't have that plan for the next chapter of your life, you're planning to fail. So you have to keep pushing that button, that envelope forward, so that you don't have to hit that break button and say, "Look, what do I do now? So I'm dead. I'm hitting this wall. I got to keep moving." So having that foundation that you had through sports to teach you to grind and to keep pushing, I think has given you that entrepreneurial spirit that you have now, and that in the gig economy that we kind of have now, that you can get all these different gigs or different LLCs and make all kinds of steady streams of income an easy way. And I think you're doing great with all that stuff.
I appreciate that for sure.
We have one more question in here. This is from Marcus Judas. I'm not sure if that's a play on the Bible or what, but it's at Marcus Judas. What are the top 3 mistakes new authors make when trying to self-publish, and how can they avoid them? Thanks, Marcus Judas.
Shout out to you, man. That's a great question. The top 3 mistakes is not getting the story done. Like you can start it, just like why stop? That's the biggest mistake, because now it's like you do that, anything. I feel like you quit a lot. Anytime you start something, bro, you're never going to finish anything in life or see anything through. So it's just not a good habit. Um, don't think about it like it's a school assignment. Like this, I'm not your professor. There's not no assignment that's at midnight tonight for half of your grade. Like, nah, don't think about it like that. You have full control and full freedom over this. You can do whatever you want with this story and go about it however you want. So look at it from that approach. You can traditionally publish. That's fine and dandy. That's a little outdated in my opinion, but it's still an option. I just say self-publishing is the best option when it comes to just you having control over your product, of your story, your material, and you can disperse it anywhere you want and however you want. Um, and even with traditional publishers, you still got to do a whole lot of the work on the back end, even though you went through them. So it's like you might as well just self-publish it yourself and you rock out like that. So yeah, I say definitely get the story finished. Um, don't overthink it. You know what I'm saying? As far as this having to be done the correct way or not, like just take your time, take it step by step. Um, Self-publish for sure, and most importantly, market it on the back end. You could do all of that, get the story out, and don't tell a soul. If that was something that you just wanted to cross off your list, I completely understand that for sure. But if it's you want to actually get a reaction from it, well, you got to push it. You got, you know what I'm saying? The world can't respond to what you keep hitting.
Now, when you self-publish, are you going straight through Amazon, or are you doing like Ingram Spark or something like that to help you get the grind out?
I typically just go through Amazon because that's just like the hub, I feel like. But it's a program called Draft 2 Digital, draft2digital.com. It's pretty much another self-publishing platform where you can upload your manuscript, your cover, all that. Pretty much set up the whole book, and it'll publish it through all the online bookstores that are available on the market. So that's just like a pretty much a one-stop shop if you want to be on that type of time too. So
Because I know Amazon, if you do through Amazon, it just goes to Amazon, right?
yeah, it's just Amazon.
Yes.
But that Draft,
yeah,
Barnes and Nobles, Kobo, and
yeah.
like all the from major ones to ones you never even heard of. yeah, for sure.
I seen one that was from Spain the other day that was asking if I wanted to put my book on there, and I said, "Sure." I don't know what part, but awesome.
Yeah,
It'd be great.
in every market. You know what I'm saying?
Frank DeMyth just said Ingram Spark is pretty good. That's what I used for my second book, Out of the Darkness. I used Ingram Spark, and it was ease of motion. The hardest part was getting my cover picture to match their template, and that was my biggest headache with them.
Yeah, it could be the same with Amazon too.
Yeah, my first book was on Amazon. That was I don't think I had many issues with that getting it in there, but I think I already had the picture aligned to their size. Their size was a little more straightforward, and I thought it'd be the same on Ingram Spark since it goes to Amazon too, and it wasn't. I learned a lesson quick, and I rebooted and went forward.
Actually.
All right, so as we start to wrap up, Chancellor, where's the best place for people to get in contact with you?
Hey, man, I'm very active on social media, so you can contact me on any of those platforms. You can visit my website, CorlayPublicationsLLC.com. You can reach out to me through that. But, man, just Google me. Google Chancellor K. Jackson. You'll find everything you need from other podcast interviews I've done, my books, website, social media content, profiles, the whole nine. So, yeah, just Google me. It ain't hard to find me.
I put your link tree in the chat, and it's going across the bottom there. So if anyone sees his link going across the bottom, his link tree is there. His link tree is in the chat right now. I'll pop it up so you can see it a little better. There it is. That way you can click that and see all his links are on there. You get his books, you can get his coaching, you can rent his Turo. And if you're in the greater Atlanta area, I'm guessing, I don't think he's going to deliver to you in Florida. But he'll do it there for you. And before we let you go for episode 2 with Chancellor Jackson, what's 3 things the Misfit Nation can start doing tomorrow that'll make them better humans?
Feed yourself substance. Feed yourself substance. Like you said, we overly indulge ourselves with our phones and social media. And a lot of it is not beneficial to our betterment. So find some balance. You know what I'm saying? Follow positive pages or subscribe to, you know what I'm saying, high level platforms on YouTube or other, you know what I'm saying, platforms. Just feed yourself substance in some form of facet. Find that balance. Eat healthy. Hit that gym.
Hit that gym. Definitely hit that gym daily or do something daily.
Health is wealth, man, for sure. And it's pivotal.
Well, Chancellor, this has been great catching up with you after a couple of years. Let's not take 2 years next time or 3 years, because there'll be so many more things you do in that time. But you got my email, you got my information. Reach back out if you got something more coming on that you want to at least jump on for a few minutes and just shout out during the show. We'll get you in there. Our Tuesday crew is a totally different group. You can come on there and talk with them guys and hang out, and they're a pretty funny group. So if you want to hang out with them for one time instead of just me all the time, I know I look good, I'm awesome, but they're part of my team too. Tuesday crew needs some love too.
Oh yeah, shout out to them.
Heck yeah. So thank you again for coming on. Thanks again for reaching back. Misfit Nation, thanks for everything you do. Check out all Chancellor's books. Read the chat. There's some good ideas in there. Frank the Myth, thank you for joining us tonight. Everyone else out there, Reads Across America Radio, we will be on tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central Time. Check us out on there on the radio station. And until next time, be humble, stay hungry, and just keep hustling. You know who we are.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.